Hello, welcome to my Google site. My name is Persiana Petrova, and I'm here today with Ivan Morales. He is a second-year English major student, specifically studying and focusing on rhetoric and composition at Cal State Long Beach. Hello, Ivan. How is your day going?
Hi, it's all right. It's going well.
Okay, so today we decided to discuss trifles. And one of the first questions I have for him today is, how do you think Trifles is different than most murder mysteries you have read or seen on TV?
All right, we're starting off strong.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much Trifles is kind of like a one scene kind of thing versus like you see at NCIS or
Hmm.
like Criminal Minds nowadays.
Or like
It
Psych.
you get like a background. Yeah, you get like a background. You get like the present day scene, and then just like wrap up people who are watching. They get a verdict. They get like a courtroom. Like, was it him? Was it not? Like kind of thing. This Trifles, it leaves you on a cliffhanger, and that's done with a purpose because it's a lot. It's meant for a lot of interpretation to be done by the reader. So
Hmm.
that's how I see a huge like difference between Trifles and current day murder mysteries.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay, so my second question for you is, why do you think the setting of Trifles was picked to be so random? The setting is a farm rather than a known location like New York or LA.
Okay, so this is pretty much based on the genre. So Trifles is done under Gothic literature.
Mm-hmm.
So to create that kind of feeling of it being a Gothic piece, you have to if you're in a city urban life, like people die every day. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're in like New York, like people in that area are just accustomed to it. It's not as special. But when you're in a farmland, it's kind of barren, kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's
It
more
provides like
it's more
mystery.
creepy. Something about it. Yeah, it's more it has that feeling, you know?
Okay. I guess my
So
the third question,
yeah.
you kind of answered it with the Gothic talk, but my third question is, why do you think the weather or simply how cold it was mentioned throughout the play, and what significance do you think it has on the story?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. It just adds to a setting. It creates kind of a vision on the reader. Like, there's like wind, there's like it's like a mystery. It's not supposed to be sunshine and bright where you can see all the clues. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be kind of creepy.
Okay. Yeah. My fourth question for you is, why do you think we never encounter either Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, but only hear the story through others?
Because the story's more interpretation of the reader. If we got more of their point of view, it would be more straightforward. Like if we got to know what happened on Mr. Right's side, then there wouldn't be much of a mystery. Like we would
Mm-hmm.
know what happened. And if we got to know about more about Mrs. Right, then that would probably put too much information out, and it wouldn't make it much of a mystery because like based on the clues that was given on other characters, it was more of like a kind of like a Blue's Clues episode where you have to figure it
Yeah.
out yourself.
And like you can kind of allow the reader to interpret and make their own opinions based on what, yeah. One
Mhm.
other thing that I felt you could say is, I lost my train of thought. Never mind. um,
Edit that.
my fifth question is, how come none of the women in the story are referred to their first names, unlike Minnie, who is referred to by her first and last name?
So this mostly is for the history of the text. So historically back, uh, do you know the time frame in which the story was created?
1916.
Yeah, so that was before suffrage. So this was like there's a time where respect was not um, kind of granted to women easily.
Hmm.
So in order to suppress that kind of attitude, there was more of like that superiority to men. So like
Hmm.
you show your respect to a man versus to a woman. At that time, it was more of like they're kind of like an attachment, like an
Yeah.
accessory to their husband. So this is just a byproduct of the time that it was created in. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
And my sixth and final question is, do you agree that Mrs. Hale and Mrs. Peters are inverses of each other, and how so?
Yes, because Mrs. Hale, being kind of a woman from the area, is more on Minnie Wright's side, like had more of like the benefit of the doubt kind of thing. Like, oh, I should have come here more often when, I should have known. And then on the other side, Mrs. Peters, who is the wife of the sheriff, she's more of like has that legal background. Like she's
Hmm.
seen the inside of her husband's work and she knows the importance of the law.
Yeah.
So throughout the story, like they would like bicker and kind of like butt heads on like what should we do, especially when it came down to hiding the evidence. Mrs. Peter was more reluctant
Hmm.
to helping Mrs. Hale with hiding the evidence to keep Minnie Wright from being exposed. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And then eventually both of them kind of agreed and came to the conclusion that they should help Minnie. I personally think it's possibly because most likely both women have experienced what Minnie has experienced, maybe not to the grand level of what Minnie has, but they probably understood her situation. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those are all my questions for you today. Thank you for joining me in
Okay.
this discussion.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
Bye. I'm going to pretend like